Tim asked me and Landon Kaufman if we could be his water and towel boys. So we're like the closest to him, and we're like recording him, and we're like screaming at the top of our lungs. I'm like, Tim, come on, you got to get this last one. And then he hits it and then bat flips, and I just went crazy.
Welcome to episode 300 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Before we get started, we just wanted to say thank you for checking out the show. Whether you're listening in for the first time or the 300th, we truly appreciate you taking the time to listen. It's hard to believe we started this show back in October 2018 and have been able to tell so many amazing stories of baseball in this province. We look forward to the next 300 episodes and beyond as well. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we have a few guests stopping by this week, all focused on the Dawgs Academy Canadian Future Showcase. We'll hear from Quincy Jenkins, Cohen Miller, and Merek Yeager in a few minutes, but first, the news headlines. And we'll start with the showcase. It was again a fantastic display of baseball at Rogers Centre in Toronto. After a few days of individual events and games, the rosters were whittled down to the main game last Saturday. Before that game, the annual Home Run Derby took center stage, and for a second year in a row, an Alberta-trained player took home the hardware. Dawgs Academy product and episode 272 guest Tim Piazentine powered his way to the championship belt, following in the footsteps of last year's winner Nathan Flewelling. Here were a few of his thoughts in the wrap-up video posted online by Dawgs Academy.
Crazy. I didn't think I was going to do it, but it was crazy to win that. It was so much adrenaline going through, and I'm happy I did it.
Oh. He's in the zone.
All I was thinking was just throw another pitch, put another one there. I'm on a roll. So not too much was going through my head. I just wanted him to put it in the right spot so I could hit it.
I'm happy to be here.
It's been a busy few days for Piazentine, and we're hoping to get him on the show again shortly. A big shout out to all the players who showed out during last week's showcase, and we're hoping next year is finally the year that we get to head to Toronto to take it all in. The professional baseball season is starting to wind down as well. However, a few Albertans are still in the thick of things. We'll start with Eric Sabrowski. The Absolute Human Performance alum picked up his first career MLB save last Saturday night with a 2+ inning performance, allowing no runs on 2 hits and a walk while striking out 2 as his Cleveland Guardians knocked off the St. Louis Cardinals 5-1. Sabrowski spoke with Bally's Cleveland after the contest.
What does it feel like? Just a couple weeks ago, we weren't too far away from here. You made your debut, and now you get your first save. Just how good does that feel? And are you surprised by it?
It feels amazing. It's been nice these last few weeks to get my feet under me and kind of get some momentum rolling and kind of carve out a role in this bullpen.
It's funny you say that because every guy that I've talked to the last week, they say you're one of the most talkative guys in the bullpen. How nice is it that they've let you in with open arms?
They've been awesome. Yeah. I'm not often at a loss for words, so, I got a lot going through this mind.
When you were in AAA, were you following what the bullpen was doing on a nightly basis?
Yeah, wondering how I was ever going to get up here with how well they were throwing. I had to come in and throw well. There's really no other option with how well these guys have been all year, and it's nice to contribute.
The way you say that, Pedro's had to do the same thing. So what does it mean on a night like tonight where the bullpen's thin, you guys got to cover 3-4 innings, and you guys are able to help the team out that way?
I think it's awesome. I think it's vital with how deep this team should go, and it's nice to take the load off the big guys for a night or two.
Did you think you were in there for, 2 1/3 innings?
I knew I was in there for an extended period of time. I wasn't so sure about the ninth. We got a pretty good guy who throws the ninth pretty often. But I came back in after the 8th, and Voter said, let's go. So I knew it was my turn.
It wasn't the way that you typically see a save recorded. Did you know that was hanging out there for you before the game was over?
I did not, no.
That's an old school save.
Is it?
Well,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Save's a save. Yeah.
This bullpen's had the best ERA, the best numbers, really since the very beginning. So to be able to be a part of that, even if it's only for a few weeks, a month, maybe more, just what does that mean to you?
I think it's special. It's a testament to how hard I worked to get here, and I think that people think I can be included in this group. I'm very fortunate to be here, and and it's been a blast.
Then on Wednesday night, Sabrowski was up to his old tricks again, pitching an inning and a third in Cleveland's 5-2 win over Cincinnati, striking out the side in the third inning. He's yet to allow a run now in 7 relief appearances, totaling 11 and a third. He's given up just 6 hits and 3 walks while striking out 16 in that stretch. I get the feeling a lot of Alberta baseball fans will be wearing Guardians garb heading into the playoffs. And yes, my hat is definitely in the mail. Calgary's Michael Soroka is back in the big leagues after finishing up his rehab assignment. He came back to the Chicago White Sox bullpen Saturday night, throwing 2 innings of shutout ball and a loss to San Diego. He allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk while striking out 3. Then, like Sabrowski, Soroka was also dealing on Wednesday, allowing just 1 hit and 1 walk while striking out 5 in 2 1/3 as the White Sox edged the Angels 4-3 in extra innings. Congratulations to Vauxhall Academy product Damiano Palmaggiani on picking up the final Player of the Week honors from the AAA Buffalo Bisons. In 6 games, he had 2 homers, 5 RBI, and 5 runs scored.
And there's a high drive center field. Allen's going back, still going back, and that ball is gone. Allen jumped up. We couldn't tell if he caught it or not. The ball just sneaks over the wall over Allen, and the Bison's right back in it. 2-run homer by Palmaggiani, his 19th of the season. It's now a 7-4 ball game.
Palmaggiani actually led all Blue Jays minor leaguers with 21 homers this season to go along with a .216 batting average and 71 RBI split between Dunedin and Buffalo. No surprise here, but Matt Wilkinson is a Midwest League All-Star. The Dawgs Academy and Okotoks Dogs standout finished the year with an 8-6 record, a 1.90 ERA, and 174 strikeouts in just 24 starts, split between Single-A Lynchburg and High-A Lake County in Cleveland system. Don't be surprised to see him in Double-A next year. A couple of Alberta products will be on Arizona Fall League rosters. Dogs product and Lloydminster native Justin King is back for a second tour of duty in the AFL. After being released by Milwaukee earlier this year, the Miami Marlins picked up the lefty, and he's been fantastic, going 2-2 with a 2.55 ERA in 17 appearances with the Double-A Pensacola Blue Wahoos. And Vauxhall Academy grad Wesley Moore will represent the Philadelphia Phillies in Arizona. The Lethbridge Bulls alum split this season between High-A and Double-A, holding a 4.23 ERA in 28 relief appearances. With the season winding down, we'll be looking to do a full breakdown of how all the minor leaguers from Alberta did during the season. We'll also be working to get you some new conversations with many of them, so make sure you subscribe to the show because we have lots to look forward to as the leaves change colors. On to this week's guests, and we head back to the Canadian Future Showcase for a trio of players who took part in the festivities. All 3 actually played in Saturday's finale between Team Bautista and Team Encarnacion. We'll start with Dawgs Academy product Quincy Jenkins. The right-handed 17-year-old is an intriguing prospect who graduates next year. He hit .333 with 3 RBI and 3 stolen bases in 4 games for Team Grey. Quincy, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Fresh off the Canadian Future Showcase, how was that experience?
You know, Showcase was a super cool experience. Playing on the Blue Jays field was such a surreal feeling. I had the opportunity to play with, some of the best high school baseball players in the country, as well as getting to know some of them actually, which was also really cool. And I was coming off a good season, so I went in the Showcase pretty confidently and had a good showing overall.
Did you find yourself having to almost pinch yourself getting to play in that home stadium of the Blue Jays?
It was a lot to handle. It was my second year. It was my second year back, so I was lucky enough to be invited back. But I think that going into it for a second time, it was definitely easier to walk in there confidently.
I was going to ask about that, being that it was your second year. Did you have any goals or expectations of yourself going in, knowing that you could kind of put maybe some of those butterflies in the back pocket for a while?
For sure, yeah. My plan was really to just stick to my approach and not let good strikes go by.
And how'd you feel about your performance?
I did pretty well. I think I was 4 for 11, so I hit pretty well.
Mm-hmm. There's some hype about your game. Prep Baseball is always elevating your stuff on social as an example. They've been adding you into the mix of some of the best Western Canadian prospects, those kinds of things. Do you like that kind of attention, or is it something where you're like pushing it off to the side and let me just do my thing?
I'm kind of more push it off to the side. Like, I'm not too. I don't like to like. How should I say? I don't like to like advertise myself as like flashy or anything. So, but I was lucky enough to be invited to the Senior Future Games in Atlanta with PBR, which was really eye-opening because we got to play against the best uncommitted talent in North America. And then I was coming off a good season with the best high school team in the country, arguably, which really boosted my confidence going into both of these showcases.
For sure. You mentioned the PBR thing, and I'm glad you did because I wanted to go there at some point in this conversation. What was that experience like for you? Because you're not just playing against Canadian talent, but you're seeing some of the best products across North America.
Yeah, for sure. So you go from seeing all these like good prospects on social media, and then you actually get to see them in person and play against them, which is like a really cool experience that not a lot of kids get to attend.
In terms of your own game, did you learn anything about what you can do or what your abilities lie as far as these big tournaments showcases are concerned?
Well, I learned that I'm better than I thought I was because I don't like to think of myself as like crazy baseball player, but going and playing against some of these like best uncommitted talents from the US, it definitely changes my perspective on that I'm actually closer to my dreams than I thought I was.
Very cool. Going back to the Future Showcase for a second, when I mention the name Tim Piazentine, what comes to mind for you?
Slugger, home run derby champ. Yeah, I got to watch him win the home run derby in front of Bautista and Encarnacion, which was super cool.
I was going to ask about that. Walk us through your vantage point as you're watching Tim go absolutely off.
Yeah, so Tim asked me and Landon Kaufman if we could be his water and towel boys. So we're like the closest to him, and we're like recording him, and we're like screaming at the top of our lungs. He has like it went into double overtime, I think, and he tied the other kid. It was 3-3. And he had two more swings, and I watched him hit a line drive, and I was like, oh, that's not going out. I'm like, Tim, come on, you got to get this last one. And then he hits it, and then bat flips, and I just went crazy.
I'm glad you mentioned the bat flip because as someone who's only been able to watch the video, it looked pretty awesome. But what was it like being right there and seeing him just toss it to the side like that?
It was awesome. I was super happy for him. I was like, just so much, like just a rush of joy. It was crazy.
You mentioned Bautista and Encarnacion. Did you get a chance to chat with them at all? Was it a handshake? What was that like? Getting to see a couple of guys who kind of captivated this country for a few years there.
Yeah. So I was actually lucky enough to be selected to go do the lineup exchange with Bautista and Encarnacion. And so I didn't really chat with Encarnacion a bunch, but Bautista was my coach for the prospect game. So I chatted with him a bit on the way up to the plate and back to the dugout. So that was a super cool experience.
Is that a kind of one of those pinch me moments too, where you're just like, okay, you get back to the dugout and you're like, did that just happen kind of thing?
Yeah, it didn't feel real because I thought Batista was going to be a lot taller than me, but like, we're like the same height. So cool. That was different.
I can only imagine. And let's get into your baseball past a little bit here. You're telling me off air, you're originally from Chicago. But talk about the baseball game particularly. How'd you get into the game in the first place?
I am. So I first got into baseball when I was 7, and I was playing lacrosse at that time. And one night my dad was like, "Q, I signed you up for baseball." And I was pretty upset at first. And then as I went to more practices with my friends, I started to I grew a love for the sport. And then we moved to Canada in 2017, where I played with the St. Albert Cardinals for 5 years, and they treated me well. And then in one of my provincial games, Val and Hollick saw me and wanted me to come visit Okotoks. And I was a little skeptical at first, moving away from home for the first time. And then my dad talked me into it. He's like, if you really want to continue this, you're going to have to make the next big step. And so I made the move to Okotoks when I was 15, my grade 10 year, and I've been here since, and I love it.
Very cool. When you're growing up, were you a multi-sport kid growing up, or was it all baseball all the time? Once 7 hit, and you were all in on that at that point.
Oh, I was a multi-sport athlete when I was little. So we would drive by Northwestern University, and I'd see the lacrosse players on the field, and I'm like, Mom, Dad, what's that? And they're like, it's lacrosse. And I'm like, I want to play that. So they got me into lacrosse. I got my first lacrosse stick when I was 4. Then when I turned 5, I was old enough to start playing rep. So I played lacrosse for 2 years, and then I was also playing basketball, and then I picked up baseball when I was 7.
Going back on your childhood a little bit here, whose poster was up on the wall in the bedroom when you were growing up?
Javi Baez, actually. Yeah. So I got to go to a camp. My mom signed me up for this Javi Baez camp that he was doing at the high school in our town. So we went to this camp, and we saw Javi Baez, and there's hundreds of kids here. So like, I didn't really get a chance to meet him. And then after the camp was over, they had like pizza party and then the camper of the day for each age group. And I actually got the camper of the game or camper of the day for my age group. So they called me up, and I got to go take a picture with Javi, and then he handed me an autographed poster, which was super cool. So
very cool indeed. So when did it turn for you? Like at one point it probably went from this is a fun game to, hey, maybe I've got something here. Like maybe I can go places here. Do you remember that moment?
I do. I was in the car with my dad. So Eric Hartman also played at St. Albert with me in my first year Bantam. And he moved after his second year of Bantam. And so he moved to Okotoks, and then Okotoks, like Hollick and Val started talking with me, and I was like, oh, like this is a big step. Like I could really, like, this could be my life. And so my dad was like, well, if you want to continue this, then we're going to have to, make the move. I'm like, yeah, for sure. So that's when I kind of realized that, I could kind of start something in this baseball thing.
Very cool. When you look back on the young journey to this point, do you have any favorite memories or moments where you just had to take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I got to do this?
Yeah. So my first Cubs game, actually, my dad surprised me for my birthday, and he took me to a Cubs game, and I don't know, the equipment manager was in the stands or something, and my dad was talking to him. He was like, can you get us a ball? So the guy goes down to the dugout and then comes back up with a ball, and the crowd, and not the crowd, but the people behind me were just like going crazy over this ball. And I just thought that was super neat.
Absolutely. On the flip side of all this, baseball is known as a game of failure. So I'm always curious about some of the challenges and hurdles that you got to overcome. What's been that biggest challenge that you've had to overcome in your young baseball journey?
So my first year in Okotoks, my grade 10 year, my first year with Dawgs was the hardest part of baseball so far. I wasn't hitting well. I didn't field too well. And so that off season, I was like, I got to change something. I can't let this happen again. So that off season, I went out with my dad and brother almost every day, and we took ground balls. We hit at the cages. And then I got over it.
Very cool. Now, you're uncommitted to this point as we look forward to the future. I'm sure you've got some schools looking around, kicking tires maybe. I won't dive into who's been asking you questions and that kind of thing, but I am curious, from your standpoint, what are you looking for in that ideal school or that ideal baseball program?
Ideally, I'm looking for a school with a good atmosphere, good coaching staff. I want to go into either kinesiology or business, so those are both two like big factors in what I'm looking for. And then as well as like meal plans, because I think that's always important as an athlete to have the best nutrition as possible to perform at your best.
What is your go-to pregame meal?
Oh, I gotta say a protein shake and a banana. I don't like to stay too heavy on the food. I like to play with a light stomach.
What's in that protein shake?
I have the Alani protein shakes from Costco actually, and I have the cookies and cream one. So it's like 20 grams of protein, and that usually like does the trick for me.
Cookies and cream is the best. So I tip my cap to you, good sir, on that front. A couple of more for you before we let you go here, Quincy. They're kind of standard here on the show. Let's say you're getting to talk to those kids who are wanting your autograph as an example, or maybe they want some words of advice on how to get to where you're at now. What are you saying to them?
I would tell the young kids, like, just to stay consistent with their craft. Like, never be afraid to ask coaches or even older kids in their program questions that they might have. Like, I really learned, like, my first year in Okotoks, I really learned a lot from the older guys, like, just watching, like, just observing them and asking them questions, like, really teaches you a lot.
Very cool. Final question for you. It's one we ask everybody here on the show. What's the game of baseball mean to you, Quincy?
It means everything. It's my life now. So, like, whether I'm eating breakfast or, like, at school, I don't think there's really a minute that goes by where I'm not thinking about it. And, like, it's my kind of my escape from everything. Like, if I'm stressing over anything, hitting baseballs is, like, what I do to shut my mind off for a bit.
Well, we've been glad to tap your mind for a few minutes here to learn more about your journey, Quincy. Congrats on all the success you've had at this point, continued success at Dawgs and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Next up is Weber Academy product Cohen Miller, who suited up for Team Navy at the Canadian Future Showcase. He picked up a single in 4 at-bats. Cohen, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Fresh off the Canadian Future Showcase, from your standpoint, how did it go?
I felt like I did good, put up good at-bats. I pretty much swung at every single pitch I saw. I saw like maybe 10 pitches in my 5 at-bats, but did good with getting the bat on the ball, had 2 hits, including a double, and pitched pretty good too. So I felt like it was a good first showcase.
You mentioned the first aspect of things. So take us into your brain as you pull up to Rogers Center and you realize, oh, this is going to be my home for the next few days here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just starting to sit in since we've gotten back, really. But, yeah, the walk there is cool, just seeing the city. And then getting in there, you get met by the accommodations and the breakfast that we first had there. And then we saw the players lounge, a lot of stuff to take up your time there, ping pong, shuffleboard, arcades, Xbox. And then, yeah, just looking out onto the field and getting to know you're going to play there for the next week is pretty cool.
Take us into your brain as you step out onto that field for the very first time. Did you have to take that moment and be like, okay, this is real. This is something I got to do for the next little bit here?
Yeah. I feel like the showcase the day before really took most of that like wow factor, not out of it, but it definitely eased the nerves a little bit, getting to do stuff on the field the day before we played. And then just getting into the outfield and just doing the same warm-up stuff you do back at home really gets me in the mindset that it doesn't really matter where you're playing. You can always just tune that out and play to your best ability.
Heading into that showcase, did you have any goals or expectations of yourself?
I just wanted to do to the best of my ability what I could. Didn't want to let it get too big for me. I know it's the best players in Canada that I'm competing against, but you just got to be confident in yourself and know that you've prepared for this. So
how much of it is being a sponge? Like, as much as you're trying to showcase yourself, you've also got like world-class coaches around you, and you've got a bunch of like the best players in Canada around you. So how much of your experience did you try to take in as much as you could from those around you?
Yeah, well, I just try to observe things that people or players are doing around me that I'm maybe not doing, and just learning from, if you do make a mistake, what could you do to make it better, and how can you learn to just consistently not make the same mistake. But yeah, just seeing what other people around me are doing and trying to adapt to doing that also.
Looking back on it, how do you feel about your performance?
I felt like I did pretty good. Hit well, put the bat on the ball. And I felt like I hit my spots pitching. The first inning was a little nerve-wracking, but I felt like I calmed down, getting into the second and third, and in the field just tried to slow everything down and just try to make the routine plays.
A couple of guys that managed to make guest appearances, Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion. Take us into your brain as you see those two walk out onto the field.
Yeah, that was just really cool knowing that these guys have actually played here before for the actual team, and just knowing that they're seeing people that could potentially also play for teams there. And yeah, just the best guys in Canada, and they get to see them and just know what's coming next for Canadian baseball players.
I'm curious, as someone who's kind of new to that big showcase situation, what do you take away from something like that? Was there a key piece of information or some words of wisdom or maybe just some knowledge about your own game that you took away from those few days in Toronto?
Yeah, it's really just not doubting yourself, believing in the preparation that you had, because I mean, pressure is just not thinking you've prepared enough. So as long as you trust in your preparation and your work leading up to it, it really helps you calm the nerves and just trust that you can do whatever you need to do to get it done.
How motivating is something like that to take your game to the next level now, knowing that, hey, I got to play amongst the best in the country and, hey, I can hang with these boys too?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that, of course, over the next year, we're going to try to get better and hopefully do get better, and it'll just put you in a better position with more opportunities next time. Just striving to be better next time and continue year after year trying to get better towards higher goals.
I know that we're heading into the winter months and that kind of stuff, so there's probably a lot of weight room involved, but have you set up some expectations or goals of yourself heading into the off season here, things that you know you need to work on to make sure that you are hitting the ground running in 2025?
Yeah, just maintaining explosiveness and also adding on weight. Personally, I'm trying to get to around 185, maybe, I mean, shooting to the further end 190 pounds, and just maintaining speed and improving speed and explosiveness along with strength and adding on weight. But yeah, just also maintaining and just knowing that I need to stay in my approach hitting wise and not just going like exit velo crazy in the off season, and knowing that I actually have to have game intent behind my reps.
Absolutely. Let's get in your baseball past a little bit here, Cohen. You and I were talking off air. You liked it, or you shared a post on social about Dubai, which got me into questioning, where in the heck in the world are you from? So let's walk through the life story, but B, how'd you get into baseball in the first place?
Yeah, so I was born here in Calgary, Alberta, and then pretty much immediately we moved to Dubai. I started baseball when I was 4 in Dubai at Dubai Little League. And then for my first grade year, I moved back here to Calgary. And then after that year, we moved back to Dubai, and then started taking baseball more seriously. I would say around like 11, 12, we traveled to places like Kuwait, Qatar, Thailand, Singapore. And we did go to the Philippines with our Dubai team and played there. And then in the summers, I would go to the U.S. with Steve Fish and the World Baseball Showcase, and we'd play teams, pretty much just tour around the U.S. and play teams to get better competition in the U.S. And then moved back here last year before the school year, sometime into the summer. And yeah.
Take us into the ability of being able to play internationally like that. Like, your frequent flyer miles have to be something else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's cool to be able to see how people manage to pick up the sport from around the world. I mean, along with that comes with, I mean, not the best facilities in some cases. DLL does a good job with maintaining their fields and having their sponsors, and it's a really well-organized establishment and facilities. But yeah, it's just knowing that, I mean, you can pretty much play baseball anywhere. There's a field and you have equipment.
How different is the game in other countries? I'm always curious about that. Who've seen, you mentioned Singapore as an example, but is there a difference in the style of play that you notice even at the younger ages?
I mean, looking back at it now, there might just be less maybe intensity, I guess, just because, I mean, it was younger playing levels there, but it's just people don't see the same stuff they see in North America with like really developed young players that are like throwing 95 or they're 6'5" or something. Like, usually you don't see that, especially around the places that we played. There weren't really any outlier big like players.
When you were growing up, was it a multi-sport situation, or were you all baseball all the time?
I played a little bit of hockey. I wasn't that great though, so pretty much just stuck with baseball from probably 10 on.
Stuck with the home country sports like hockey. I like it.
Yeah.
When looking back on it, whose poster was hanging up on the wall in your room?
I mean, I did have a Vladdy poster just from when he was coming up with the Jays. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I can think of right now, honestly.
When did it turn for you when you're like, hey, this is a cool game, to, hey, maybe I can go places with this thing?
I think just playing like when I got here in Canada and just playing some of the best teams around Canada and just like seeing how I could stack up against them and knowing that if I work at it, I can get to where I want to be someday.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on the young career to this point, any favorite memories or moments where you had to kind of take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I get to do this?
I mean, hitting my first Weber home run was pretty cool. We were probably halfway into the season. I was thinking if I had enough juice to do it, and then just barrel the ball, and it was pretty cool. With our gap year guys that were leaving pretty soon, also just having them be there was a pretty cool experience.
Glad you mentioned Weber, because I wanted to get into that. What's that program meant to you in the short time you've been there, not just from a ball playing perspective, but also from a life perspective?
Yeah. When we first came here and we were touring different baseball teams to see who we wanted to go with, the first stop was Weber. We came and we toured their facilities, saw the new turf fields and the indoor facility, and right on the spot we were like, this is the place. And the coaches too. We didn't check any other place out, and we were like, yeah, this is where I think I would fit in. And it's really good with adapting my schedule, because I get out of school at like around 1:30 every day, and then we can go in and hit and do practice with gap year guys. And then, yeah, it's just good for adapting to your schedule.
You've been able to represent Alberta as well at national championships already. You've really kind of immersed yourself. What's that meant to you to be able to put the A on, or even in the case of Canadian Future Showcases, put a Blue Jays logo on your ball cap?
Yeah, I mean, playing for Team Alberta in Canada Cup was a good opportunity, not just for playing in front of people and being able to represent Alberta, but just meeting people from around Alberta that also strive for the same goals that I do and my teammates do. But yeah, it's just a cool experience to be able to get selected for that and play for where we're from.
A lot of positives. I'm be remiss. We talk a lot about baseball being a game of failures. So maybe look back on the young career to this point. What's been the biggest challenge or the hurdle that you've had to overcome over your young career?
Just trusting in my ability, not letting the nerves get too high, I think. Of course, the mental side of the game, just trying to get better at that. And of course, you can always work on that. But I feel like that's a struggle that a lot of people have and somewhat always have, but just working on that instead of just working on physical stuff is my main focus when it comes to that.
Speaking of focuses, the focus now obviously is getting to the point where you can talk about university or college at some point down the line. You're uncommitted to this point. I don't want you to tip your cap on where you might be going at some point down the road or who you're talking to. But when you're thinking about that possibility down the road, do you have an ideal kind of school in mind? Do you have a program or a class that you really want to be able to take, or what's kind of your mindset going into those conversations and those deliberations about what might be down the road here?
Yeah, I mean, just going to a good academic school as well as a good like athletic school is a top priority. Not just because baseball won't be there forever, so you still want to get an education, but the fact that from my understanding, the higher academic school you go, the harder it is for like transfer portal guys out of JUCO to come to. And it just gives you more chance for playing opportunities. So yeah, a good academic school and probably in a warmer climate, like maybe the West Coast. Yeah.
Well, you don't want to stick around Alberta or something like that. I can't understand why you'd want to not play in -40. I'm kidding. They talk about the student athlete though, and you mentioned the academics piece. Do you have a program in mind or something that you'd like to get into so that you've got that plan B in your back pocket?
I'm still kind of thinking about it right now, but what I've been interested in recently is just my like biomechanics or maybe kinesiology, something in that department, just working with how the body moves and just studying like athletic movements and stuff like that.
Very cool. A couple more for you before we let you go, Cohen. First off, let's say you're getting to talk to those young kids at Weber, or maybe they're young kids who are seeing you at a different ballpark or whatever the case may be, and they're looking for words of advice on how to get to where you're at now. You've seen the world. You've seen a few different places. Mm-hmm. What would you say is your number one piece of advice for those young kids just starting out?
I mean, just really know if you actually want it or not, or if you're going to prioritize distractions and other things that I feel a lot of people can have take over their athletic life if they choose to. Just know that you're going to have to sacrifice some things if you want to be good at one or the other.
Savvy advice indeed. And the final one, it's the one we ask everybody here on the show, Cohen. What's a game of baseball mean to you?
I mean, it's just a good opportunity to showcase how you are athletically and mentally. Again, it's a sport of failure, but I believe it's just a good showcase of all around, I mean, who you are. If you can maintain being calm in stressful situations and just, show all parts of you as an athlete.
Well, you've shown all parts of you as far as your journey, and we really appreciate that opportunity, Cohen. Congrats on all the success you've had at this point, continued success going forward. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And finally, we head east to Saskatchewan, where Saskatoon Barrie's Academy hurler Merek Yeager has been on the radar for a while as part of the Canadian Junior National Team. He allowed 1 run on 2 hits with a strikeout in 2 innings of relief work for Team Grey at the showcase. Merek, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Fresh off the Canadian Future Showcase, how was that experience?
It was amazing. Each time it was like the first time, and honestly, there's never really a dull moment there. And it's just a great thing to take in. What the week I'm there, each game, and the talent there is just amazing. So, and getting this opportunity is special. You get your top 150 player in Canada, and it's just a good time. You meet lots of really good people and really good ball players and really good coaches, and your wisdom is filled with the coaches, ex-OB players, and it's just an experience you won't forget.
This is your second time around. I'm curious, did you feel more prepared this time around? Were you feeling a little bit less frenetic maybe as you're making your way around Rogers Centre this time around?
Yeah. Like, first year, I get to the hotel, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the first one here. And then all the workers are like, yay, what's going on? And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then they bring me in this big room, and we got these T-shirts laid out for you, and backpack. I got a backpack. I got a jersey, and I got like a little name bar thingy. They just completely spoil you, and they give you your room. And I'm like, okay, breathe. And all of a sudden, first day comes around, and I'm like, how on earth do I get to Rogers Centre? Because it's like a 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk from the hotel to Rogers Centre. So you got to walk right by the train station, right by the aquarium, like right by Scotiabank. Like you walk right through there. And like as a kid from Saskatchewan who comes from Munster, it's like walk 10 minutes to school. You can see the school from my house. But this is a little different. But this year I come and I'm like, yeah, guys, I know exactly where I'm going. You follow me. It's like, and it's like, but yeah, and going around Rogers Centre is they had everything open, like the main floor. They had everything open for you, and when you first walked in, they had the Mizuno. So the actual like glove maker, I believe, was there, and he's from Japan, and he had all of these gloves set up. And if you wanted to, like, if you had a Mizuno glove, so I have a red Mizuno glove I got from Team Canada, and I gave to him like, hey, what do you want to do with this glove? I'm like, fix it. And then he did, and now my glove's awesome again. But they had that set up right there, and walking through the whole Rogers Centre, they had a whole section of their clothing store, set up to the Futures thing. And they had like a whole players lounge. So the WestJet flight deck that's in center field under the big screen was our players lounge. So we got 3 meals a day. You get to play pool, ping pong. They had like 5 Xboxes up there, and you could just sit there all afternoon if you wanted to just watch baseball. So it was around there. It was pretty awesome.
On the field, how do you feel you performed?
I honestly, I did think I did pretty well. Compared to last year, not as well, but that was I did well last year. But this year, I think I still performed quite well, and especially in the prospects game, I thought I did well. But honestly, I went up there, looked at the mound. I'm like, oh my God, like you don't really know a whole lot going through your head. It's just, but I think, I think I did well.
That's great to hear. Looking back at it, not just from the future standpoint, but you mentioned Team Canada as well. It's been a crazy year again for you. Talk about that experience of repping Canada with the junior national team. What's it been like?
Oh my, it's honestly, it was one of the best experiences I've had. It's to be selected as one of the top 30 players in the country is honestly, it's a weird but very kind of prideful feeling in a way. But the experience there was amazing. Like, it was a caliber of baseball I'd never played before, so I had no idea what to expect. We're going down there and playing against guys that have been drafted and that are like 4 or 5 years older than us, and you're like, oh, how are we going to match up against these guys? But it's like we beat a lot of teams down there, and it's the experience there, and we have the best coaches in the country, and like I've never taken such a leap in skill in that short amount of time with Team Canada. It was just an amazing time, and it was something I won't forget.
Looking back on it, how crazy is that moment when you walk into the locker room and you see that's your hat, that's your jersey, that's a maple leaf on both of them?
Oh, it was, yeah. I'll take Florida, for example, because that's where we actually walked in the locker room. So we're in Dunedin, and we're using one of the Blue Jays, like the Dunedin they'd gone for a week or two, so we actually had access to their locker room. And we walk in, and this is the first time being in the locker room, and we have all of our names on each of the locker. We have 2 polo shirts, a long sleeve shirt, like training shirts and shorts and socks, and we got a pair of turf shoes, a pair of cleats, we got a white backpack, we got a hat, we got a hat case that protects your hats, and we were just flat out spoiled. And I remember putting on the jersey for the first time. I was like, this is so awesome. Like, they just spoiled us too. Like, I still wear the black cleats that they gave me to this day.
Very cool. You've been able to rep Canada. You've also repped Saskatchewan at national tournaments, that kind of thing. When you think back on it, I mean, you've still got a few more opportunities to come, but what's it mean to you to be able to rep Sasky or rep Canada at such a big level like that?
It means everything to me, honestly. There's been lots of people who put lots of trust in me to perform well and represent our province well. And I don't take any of that for granted. And I hope everyone understands that I worked my butt off to be in that position. And it means the world to me to represent everybody like that. Even people who don't play baseball or don't have any idea what this is, I'm still representing you, and I hope that I've done a good job with that. And I mean, it's something else I won't forget with Saskatchewan. It's just been a big part of my life for so long, and it's treated me well.
Well, you've done a fantastic job so far, and big things still to come, I'm sure. Let's get in your baseball past a little bit here, Merek. As mentioned, you're from Munster. Talk us through your beginnings in the game. How'd you get into baseball in the first place?
I don't remember. It's just been like part of me forever. Like T-ball, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6. I mean, I wasn't like a great guy at T-ball. I don't really remember. Like I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, like, what was I like in T-ball? Like, nah, you cried the whole time. You sat by the fence and cried, and yeah, thanks. But then it was what I think is what built me as a ball player the most is not only playing on a ball team, on the minor league team with the Munster Red Sox. It was those nights where we didn't have the team games, and it was me and my friends who would just spend hours together playing catch, hitting on the field, taking swings, throwing bullpens, playing catch, and just playing ball aside from it being competitively, just enjoying the game in itself. And I think that's where I progressed the most. And learning to love the game and understand what it is, I think that's what helped me the most.
Looking back on it, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just and going through Mosquito and Bantam and Pee-wee, Bantam, and now Midget, and now I'm over with it now, and it's like not being such a big part of my life, but it's been quite a successful path. Like Pee-wee, provincial, I won provincial championship in second Pee-wee. I got to finals in 30 Pee-wee. Got second in the league finals in Bantam, won provincial championship in Bantam and the league final. Got second place at provincials and first year midget. We won second year, and we got semifinals this year. Got fourth in nationals when we won provincials. It's been a lot of success, and it was to have that just all of a sudden be done like that is just it's a weird feeling, but it's been great.
Absolutely. Were you a multi-sport kid growing up, or were you all baseball all the time from the minute that T-ball started?
No. So I've been a multi-sport kid. Every kid like in Munster has. High school sports have been something I've done my whole life from grade 7 to grade 12. Like start up school year, you run cross country, then you go sign up for soccer, and then you sign up for volleyball. And then as soon as the snow falls on the ground, you start curling and playing hockey. And then as soon as curling's over, you play hockey for a few months, and then you do badminton. And then you move on after badminton, then the track field starts in the summer, and then baseball starting during that time. So it's just like a never-ending cycle it was my whole life. But yeah, I was a multi-sport athlete, and there was a lot of other kids who were. It's funny because our volleyball team was our soccer team, which was our badminton team, which was our all the same kids.
As a small town kid myself, I can attest to that and totally know where you're coming from on that one. So in your mind, like you mentioned a bunch of different highlights, but can you single out one? Like, is there one where you look back and go, like, I can't believe I got to do that?
Winning that provincial championship in midget was awesome, and representing Saskatchewan at nationals was like, wow, I did that. But representing Saskatchewan at the Summer Games in Niagara in 2022, that is an experience I hope all athletes get to experience. That was amazing. Like, that's all I can say about that. Honestly, probably Niagara. That was probably the moment that I look back on. It's like, wow.
That's a good one, and I've heard that team was really, really good too, and really, really tight, which probably makes the experience that much better. On the flip side of that, though, baseball's a game of failure. Everybody knows it. What's been maybe the biggest challenge or hurdle you've had to overcome over your young career to this point?
I think would be better to answer is because I've had a lot of success recently. Like not making Team Canada but making 3 trips is successful in my books. Honestly, this year at the Futures thing, it was my 3rd year. I didn't pitch real great my first year in Ottawa. I really didn't, and it was humbling in a sense, because it's like I'm good at Saskatchewan, but there it's like, oh boy, like, and I kind of buckled, like I pulled up my socks a little bit after that. I buckled down. That was a big moment. Oh, I got one. Semifinals, Niagara 2022, playing Ontario in the semifinal. I started a bump. I get absolutely lit up. It was bad. Like, I beat like the second guy of the game, and it was like, oh god. But I was still a young dude at the time, and I had a lot to learn. I didn't really know how to pitch it. I was kind of still a thrower. It was just, that was a big learning curve. Yeah, those are kind of my two moments where it's like, oh boy, oh boy.
Everybody has them. So,
Yeah.
obviously, a lot of kids at this point in their young careers are looking towards the future and looking at what my post-secondary looks like. What's your game plan there? Do you have a school in mind already? And if you do, or if you don't, regardless, what's been key in that search? What kinds of things are you looking for, not only out of a school, but obviously out of a baseball program as well?
Ironically, I am deciding that relatively quick here, where I'm going to go after. It's been a lot of hard thinking. There's a few schools involved. Right now, it's kind of on the down low, trying to keep it pretty quiet until I make I'm gonna tell everybody what I've made. But there it is. I plan to go to a junior college first, and then hopefully transfer over to a good 4-year. That's the plan. I don't plan on going straight to a 4-year first. I feel like I'm not developed enough yet. I feel like I'm not going to get an opportunity to play. I feel like a junior college, I'm going to develop more, and 2 years, I'm going to be more than ready to go to a 4-year. But with the junior colleges, I look for a good amount of money. Like a good amount of financial stability is always good. But also it's the coaches that are, what's the big thing for me is they're trustworthy, and they know and they care that they want you to be better. Because I had a coach tell me, like, junior colleges or colleges, they want to, specifically junior colleges, they want to, like, yeah, they want to win and they want to do well and they want their program to be successful, but they want you to develop and they want to make you a better ball player. It kind of gets you out of there so that you can go on. And that's a big thing for me. I want a good, trusted coach who knows what he's talking about. I obviously want them to be a good program, like who are successful, but I also just want them to have good classes as well. And like, I take lots of pride in my academics. I want to have like a backup plan when, say, baseball doesn't work out, which there is a good chance that it might not. There might, like, I don't know where the road's going to take me. But I want to have that security with that. But just overall, just the comfort that I feel from the colleges is the biggest thing. And it's, I don't want to feel like, I want to go there. But I want to be like, yeah, I feel comfortable here. I feel comfortable with my teammates. I feel comfortable with the coaches, and I feel comfortable at school, and I can stay here and just work my butt off. So
you mentioned the academics piece. Obviously, they call it a student athlete for a reason. So, do you have a program in mind or something that you want to take when you're doing the studying part of the student athlete piece?
Yeah, I do. I'm interested into when I say medicine, that's like, well, it's kind of intimidating, but it's a certain branch, like kind of, well, like I'm in other sport, like baseball is kind of the sport I chose, but I am like, you tell me to sit down, watch skiing, badminton, like I'm a sports guy, like, and that's kind of like sports medicine, physiology, that's kind of area I'm hopefully thinking, but you never know, it could completely change.
Absolutely, it could. Couple more for you, Merek, before we let you go here. Let's say you're getting to talk to some of those young kids who are just starting out on their baseball journeys in Saskatchewan or elsewhere, and they want to get to where you're at now. What are those pieces of advice or those words of wisdom you like to impart upon them?
Keep working. You just got to keep working, and you got to learn to love the game, because if you don't love the game, you're not going to get anywhere. You got to learn to love it, because if you're just working somewhere just to make a team or something, like those things will come along and they'll be presented to you if you just love the game. Because if you love the game, you're going to put everything into it. And if you put everything into it, opportunities are going to come. So you just got to learn to love the game.
Well, and you segued really well into the last question that we ask everybody here on the show, Merek. What's the game of baseball mean to you?
Ooh. It's meant to me, it's more than the game. It's taught me a lot of life skills, and it's almost my second self. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on it. It's brought so many, in a sense, like a moral compass in a way. It's like taught me how to deal with frustration. It's taught me how to be humble with success. It's taught me how to work hard. It's taught me how to be doing the finer things. So it just taught me so much about life, and that's kind of what it means to me. It guided me in a sense. That's a way, but it's everything. I love the game, and it means everything to me. I dread the day where I don't play anymore.
Well, we dread the day that you don't get to play as well. It was a joy to watch you so far, Merek. Only the best to come. Congrats on all the success you've had to this point. Continued success, and really appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks again to Quincy Jenkins, Cohen Miller, and Merek Yeager for joining us this week. And thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you like this or any of our previous episodes, make sure to leave us a rating and review, as those actions will help spread the word about ADS. And again, thank you so much for all of your support. Whether you've listened to one episode or all 300, we can't wait for the next 300 and beyond. As always, a tip of the cap to our platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dawgs, Western Canadian Baseball League, and Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment for their generosity and support in helping us tell the game stories in our province. For more on our amazing teammates and to get involved with your organization as a sponsor, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.